All right, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging around here. It's been a great week. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for our football program. Certainly a chance to be a part of history with the first ever conference championship game in the Sun Belt. And, it's good to be playing football championship week. A lot of teams don't get this opportunity. I think our team, we talked about in the locker room at Appalachian State the first time, we were going to focus on making improvement 1 week at a time, try to get into playoff mode and earn this opportunity, and our team has done that. So I'm proud of our players, proud of our staff. We're excited about getting on the plane tomorrow, and certainly look forward to competing in the game. If you're a great competitor, this is why you do it. And I think we've got a team full of players that are learning how to compete, and I'm excited to watch these guys play on Saturday.
Is it about what you do well, or do you have to try something a little bit different to adjust to them?
Well, I think it's always a combination of both of those things. Certainly every week has a different set of variables, and they're really good, in terms of what they do. They've got identity in all three phases. Really good team speed. I think they've got a good culture. I think their team plays hard. And there's a reason why they've had, been able to sustain success. We've got a lot of respect for that. Certainly I'm very familiar with their program, but I think it's a little bit of both of those. What do you do well? Maybe what wrinkles do you throw in there? And certainly you're trying to combat maybe some of their strengths. So I think it'll be a combination of those. But ultimately, we're going to put the ball down. The players are going to have to play. It's going to come down to execution, blocking, tackling, throwing and catching, defeating blocks, winning matchups and special teams, players having the poise to do their job and discipline to execute the critical situations. And that's what I think we've improved at, all of those things. So this will be a good chance for us to, 6 weeks after getting defeated by these guys, let's see how much progress we really made and go cut it loose and compete, see what we can do here.
Is it hard to manage emotions? Because this will be, I'm sure, a pretty emotional contest for these guys.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a positive for our football team, in terms of being relative, being in contention, being a contender, however you want to describe it. I think for some of our players, probably half the roster, they've never experienced success. And then, there's a core group of veteran players who were maybe here 4 years ago who remember what it was like, to have people who are proud of you. You're actually having a little bit of success and representing the university and the community the right way. And I think that all of that is a positive. I think that we get to the game, that's our job as coaches, to get them to focus on the things that are going to help them play better and keep their poise throughout the game, and stay focused on what's relevant.
They always talk about how bowl games are a great opportunity to get extra practices for the young guys. But how much are you guys going to benefit from this, just in terms of being, getting an experience in a compacted amount of time to prepare for something extra big?
Yeah, I think it's huge going forward, for all the returning players, to experience this championship game. I think it's tremendous exposure for the university. I think it's tremendous exposure for our football program and athletic department. People are going to be watching the ESPN game day, and it's going to roll right over into the Sun Belt Conference Championship game at 12 noon Eastern. So, Louisiana Raging Cajuns and UL and everything that we're about is going to be, there's going to be millions of people watching. So I think it's a tremendous opportunity for everyone involved. And certainly the football program can be a great representation if you go about doing it the right way.
Is there more sense of confidence going into this matchup compared to the last one because of how you guys competed with them, with yourself and maybe the team, instead of we're hoping to compete, now we think we can compete?
Well, yeah, I think we went through that little gauntlet there of the teams maybe that people talk about. People talk about Appalachian State, Arkansas State, Troy, relative to their programs, the success that they've had, the ability that they have on their rosters. And to beat one of those and to hang in there with the other two, I think probably made the players feel like that the work that we've been doing made them a little different, and then I think once we got in position to where we controlled our own destiny, we had the pen in our hand, and it was totally our, right to write the story going forward. I think that's where we kind of changed a little bit, in my opinion. So, and we found a way to win. All of them were a little bit different, down the stretch, but some days, one unit may have been better. Some days, we could have done lots of things better, but we found a way to win, and we got ourselves in this position. And I'm proud of our staff and our players for doing that.
You guys were one of those teams not long ago. Do you feel like you're back on that list now that you're playing in the championship game?
Well, I mean, I think you got to remember that the Western Division champ has 3 conference losses, relative to Troy's a one-loss conference team. Obviously, Georgia Southern is a 9-3 record. They had a tremendous year. So, I mean, I think on the West, we found a way to win our division. We get the opportunity to play for the championship. So, each and every year is different. All I can tell you is this season, Raging Cajuns found a way to get to the championship game, and that's all that matters at this point. What the records are in the past don't matter anymore. It's going to be about who wins the game Saturday, who executes the best, plays the best. And that's what I love about this game, right? No different than NFL playoffs or the college football playoff. Once you're in, man. Let's go play for it. So no matter if you're the 1st seed, the 4th seed, or you're the wild card, or you had to buy the first round. You're in the game. Let's go see who can win the championship.
How about knowing that win-lose, you're in a bowl game, does that ease the players a little bit? There's no real kind of stress with regards to, hey, we gotta win to get into a bowl.
Yeah, I think that stress probably was, maybe under the table talk last week. Last week was like, hey, they're saying maybe if you lose this game, you might not get to go to a bowl game, even though you're eligible. So we didn't mention one word of that, total focus on the game and preparing to win the division. But I do think that clinching the West and getting that 7th win certainly takes a little bit of a burden off of you when it comes to that, for sure.
How do you feel about the 2 options, New Orleans and Orlando?
I mean, I think we're just excited to be a part of a bowl game, and certainly I'm excited that our players and staff are going to get somewhat of a reward for the work, that they put into this entire off-season and season. Bowl games are that. They're a reward for the work that you put in and the success that you've had. So that's what was most important to me. That's what I sat in the bed worried about was here we are, we're bowl eligible, and maybe I got to sit in front of these guys and tell them, hey, look, it ain't going to happen this year. But good thing is we didn't have to cross that bridge. So, we're bowl eligible. We know where we're going, one of 2 places. Our entire focus right now is on winning this championship game and playing good football, representing our place the right way. And we've had good practice. We're getting healthy. I think Tariq Miller will be the only guy who will be out. Everybody else will be ready to go.
You've been plenty of places where, now there's, the coaching circle situation. Apparently there were reports about Scott Satterfield maybe moving on. What does it do to the team when maybe the coach is leaving and the reality of the business end of it comes in at this point in time of the year?
I've seen it be a huge positive. Most of the time, the promotions that I've been associated with were well-deserved. Players loved them, respected them, knew it was coming, and really it was an opportunity to send them out the right way. Now, obviously, it could be a distraction for maybe the young players on the team that maybe are worried about the future, maybe recruiting people in the building. Where's my, what's my situation relative to that? But I think most people at this point in time are pretty professional in their approach, stay focused on doing their job. Because, ultimately it's about doing your best for the other people in the organization and doing the best you can for the players. And I've seen that go very well. several times.
We talked about recruiting a little bit. How does this benefit, obviously, when you
Oh,
go
yeah.
into a living meeting, you go, look, guys, we're building something here. Look what we did.
Yeah.
Our first year.
Great momentum. You know, I think ultimately that's what it's about. You know, it's about establishing that you're doing things the right way, your process works. You know, I think the biggest thing for us is, you know, get these young men and their families on campus, let them spend time with our players and our staff and see what we're about. You know, I think obviously a lot of it's about relationships. It's about trust, and I think our staff does a great job when it comes to recruiting, and we're in prime position to put together a really good class here. So we'll actually host a group, you know, not this weekend but the next. So in between the championship game and the bowl game, we'll have a huge group come on campus for the weekend.
Have any of your assistants talked with or interviewed anybody about a head coaching job within, say, an hour and a half radius down?
No, I'm not that I'm aware of. I mean, obviously sometimes that happens, you know, but I don't think so. I think this group of assistants that I have, they're very professional. You know, they're going to be an open book. I mean, we got a bunch of foxhole guys in there, and if anything like that comes up, we'll handle that when the football's done played. And but you know, like I told you guys before, do I anticipate that happening pretty regularly? I hope so. That means we're doing something well. We've hired well, and we've got guys that have leadership ability, and they're going to be in position to get promoted. And hey, we're all about that. You know, I think it's a sign that we're going about it the right way, and people want guys, you know, in our organization to lead their team and their program.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, thank you guys.
All right, thank you all.
And Pat left.